Welcome to an Introduction to Medicare. Thank you for attending the second video in this invaluable four-part series. My name is Ed Smith, President of Valor Wealth Partners. As a certified financial planner, I lead a team specialized in educating federal employees on maximizing value from their government benefits by developing and executing a financial plan. In this video, we're going to give you a fresh perspective on how Medicare works. With this information, you'll be able to make the best Medicare decisions for your unique needs and avoid costly Medicare mistakes. So let's get started by learning some Medicare basics. Most people believe Medicare enrollment is a three-step process. Step 1. Choose your Medicare plans: United Healthcare, Humana, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, etc. Step 2. Go to socialsecurity.gov or the Social Security office to get enrolled in Medicare's Parts A and B. Then, Step 3. Once you're officially enrolled in Medicare, you can then sign up for the plans you initially chose. In fact, even Medicare.gov will tell you that Medicare enrollment is a three-step process. So let's get to know all the steps involved in the Medicare enrollment process. There are 6 of them, not 3. Step 1 of the Medicare enrollment process is to check your timing. What we mean by this is it best for you to enroll in Medicare right away at age 65 during your initial enrollment period? Or should you delay Medicare enrollment? It could be a mistake to delay when you should enroll, or enroll when you should delay. Both can end up in very expensive and permanent Medicare mistakes. In fact, remember those 3 case studies I told you about in the first video of this presentation series? All 3 of them were timing mistakes. People who delayed when they should have enrolled. Now I'm going to tell you about a person who enrolled when they should have delayed. Meet Carol. When Carol was about to turn 65, Carol did a lot of research about Medicare and became very fearful of incurring late enrollment penalties. So she thought, I'm not messing around. She went ahead and fully enrolled in Medicare, Parts A, B, and D, when she turned 65. But she also kept her husband's large employer group health plan with creditable drug coverage. Essentially, what this meant was that Carol enrolled too soon in Parts B and D, paying almost $5,200 for duplicative coverage that she could never really benefit from. But here's the bigger deal. She now no longer has a guaranteed issue right to get a Medigap plan. Now, if she wants that type of coverage, she'll have to go through medical underwriting and answer health questions. For Carol, who has a few pre-existing medical conditions, this was a big deal. Carol may never be able to get that type of coverage in her lifetime, so please start at step 1. Once you know the timing is right to enroll in Medicare, step 2 is to choose your Medicare path. By path, we mean type of coverage. Is original Medicare Parts A and B with a Medigap policy best for you? Or is it a Medicare Advantage plan? Or maybe you have retiree or military coverage options that would be best. In this step, it's crucial that you understand the good, the bad, and the ugly about each type of coverage option you have and choose what's best for your unique needs. Please do the research. The type of coverage you choose today can be something you may not be able to switch in the future. We'll talk about this more in just a bit. Our case study for step 2 is a gentleman named Gary. When Gary was about to turn 65, he saw a commercial for a Medicare Advantage plan. We've all seen them. It said, $0 in monthly premiums, free dental coverage, free gym membership, sign up today. So Gary signed up. Unfortunately, that's all Gary learned about his coverage before he signed up. Gary has several chronic conditions. He is hospitalized about 2 to 3 times per year. He sees specialists regularly and frequently has outpatient procedures. With his healthcare needs, Gary is now stuck, potentially for life, in a type of coverage in which he pays about $3,000 to $4,000 more per year, deals with network restrictions, and prior authorization requirements. If only he had taken the time to understand all of his coverage options and chosen something better suited to his unique needs. The point? take the time to learn about all the options you have. Once you know the timing and the type of coverage that's right for you, then you can begin to choosing the specific plans that are best for you. Please notice, this is step 3. Please wait until step 3 to begin choosing specific plans. As you've already seen, it's critical to do these steps in order. Now on to step 4, enrolling in Medicare. This is a step where you engage with the Social Security Administration to enroll in Medicare Parts A and or B, whether through the Social Security website or the local office. Step 5. Once you are enrolled in Parts A and B of Medicare, you can then officially sign on the dotted line to enroll in the specific plan Part D, Medigap, or Medicare Advantage plans you chose in Step 3. Finally, but definitely not least, review your coverage annually. Many people think that after they've enrolled in Medicare, they're done. They can go ahead and put Medicare on autopilot. Not so. Year to year, Medicare Advantage plans, Part D drug plans can dramatically change their coverage. They can change provider networks, who's in and out. They can change drug formularies, which medications they cover and how they cover them. They can change premiums, deductibles, co-pays, co-insurances, and out-of-pocket limits. If you are not watching how your coverage will change in the coming year and switching plans as needed, quite frankly, you are the one left paying the bill. In fact, studies show that people who don't review their plans overspend on coverage by an average of $368 per year. So if it's 4 years since you last reviewed your drug plan, chances are you're now overpaying by about $1,200 this year. Our case study for this step is a woman named Dorella. Dorella believed that no matter what she did during open enrollment, insurance companies and drug manufacturers were going to get about the same amount of money from her. So she believed it was best to just keep her coverage and not waste her time, in her own words, messing around. So it was kind of a shock to find out that she could have saved more than $3,000 in the coming year simply by switching drug plans. She'd still receive the exact same medications, but with substantially less money coming out of her pocket. She's vowed never to skip an open enrollment period again. Now, when it comes to the 6 steps of Medicare enrollment, here's the sad thing. Most of the tools and resources available today are designed to help with the steps 3 through 6 of the Medicare enrollment process, with a heavy emphasis on those steps in which you pick specific plans, steps 3 and 6. But very few resources, other than self-study, really help with the regulatory-intensive steps of timing and type. This is unfortunate because it's in steps 1 and 2 where most of the permanent and very costly Medicare mistakes are made. And as we talked about before, Medicare mistakes are not to be taken lightly. In fact, just one Medicare mistake can cost a person thousands of dollars and often cannot be undone. So, what are you supposed to do? Well, congratulations. You've already taken the first step towards getting the information you need to avoid costly mistakes by watching these videos. We're going to teach you a bit more to ensure that you have the information and the opportunity to avoid the worst Medicare mistakes. Let's dig more into steps 1 and 2. First, timing. Again, what we're talking about is it best for you to enroll in Medicare right away at age 65, or should you be delaying Medicare enrollment? There are many factors that impact when you enroll, including Social Security benefit status, type and quality of any existing health coverage you have, employer size, employment status, and whether or not you're contributing to an HSA. Let's first look at Social Security benefits. If you're receiving Social Security benefits, Medicare enrollment is automatic. Remember Sandy's story? If you plan to continue receiving benefits, you must keep Part A hospital insurance at a minimum. It's a requirement for receiving benefits. Now, depending on the rest of your situation, Part B might be optional. If it is, you must decide if you'd like to keep it. If you want to stop receiving Part B, you must take action to suspend it. Another key factor is timing. If you have existing coverage, the type and overall quality of the coverage. It's important to determine whether the coverage you have would be primary or secondary to Medicare. The primary payer is the party responsible for paying what it owes to healthcare bills first. then the healthcare provider sends any remaining amount to the secondary payer. Depending on the coverage you have, you may need to enroll in Medicare Parts A or B, or you may prefer to enroll in Medicare due to cost, coverage, or quality reasons. Another key factor is timing is specific to those who have existing health coverage provided by an employer. If the company providing the coverage has fewer than 20 employees, the company can opt to exclude those people turning 65 from remaining on the company plan. This means that you would have to enroll fully in Medicare. If you can continue on the company's plan, this plan will be secondary to Medicare. Remember John's situation? Meaning you must enroll in Medicare Parts A and B. If the company providing the coverage has 20 or more employees, the company must provide the same benefits to you that it would any other employee. It cannot charge you more in premiums or offer incentives to get you to switch to Medicare. Enrollment in Medicare Part A is optional. Medicare recommends that you enroll, but it is not required. Part B enrollment is optional and not recommended. Remember what happened to Carol? A person with coverage through a company with 20 or more employees will not face late enrollment penalties as long as they've had continuous coverage, no gaps of more than 8 months, and the drug coverage is considered creditable. This person will qualify for a special enrollment period to get a Medicare coverage of their choice. Now on to coverage not related to active or current employment. We're talking about COBRA coverage, retiree coverage, or coverage through severance packages. This may be just like the coverage you had when you were employed, but Medicare will treat it differently. Regardless of whether the coverage comes through a large or small company, this coverage will be secondary to Medicare. You must enroll in Medicare Parts A and B. Without this, you will not have a primary payer. Remember Jane? One more point before we move on. HSAs. Once a person is enrolled in any part of Medicare, they are no longer eligible to make contributions to an HSA. Those who are in a high deductible plan with an HSA should strongly consider whether or not they prefer to enroll in Medicare's Part A to continue making contributions to an HSA. Ready to hear about Maria? Maria was still working at age 65. She enrolled in Medicare Part A because she, like a lot of people, thought she had to. But she did not stop making contributions to her HSA, nor did her employer. Now she must pull all of her contributions out that she's made since turning 65 at a 6% penalty. And she must also repay her employer for their contributions. It's also important to understand the 3 most common Medicare enrollment periods. Let's begin with the initial enrollment period. The initial enrollment period is the first chance most people have to enroll in Medicare. This is a 7-month period surrounding your birth month. It begins 3 months before your birth month and ends 3 months after your birth month. When Medicare coverage begins will vary based upon when you take action and enroll in Medicare. If you happen to have a birthday on the first of the month, then this period shifts. It begins 4 months before your birth month and it ends 2 months after the birth month. While everyone needs to pay attention to Medicare during their initial enrollment period, not everyone will actually enroll in Medicare. In fact, some people who are still working will prefer to wait for special enrollment period. A special enrollment period is just that, a special 8-month period of time which to enroll in Medicare without any late enrollment penalties or delay in coverage. But you must qualify to get this period, and not everyone does. Only people who have had an employer plans based upon current employment or employment of their spouse with no gaps in coverage of 8 months or more will qualify. If you missed your initial enrollment period and do not qualify for a special enrollment period, then the general enrollment period is when you will have a chance to enroll in Medicare. This period occurs once a year between January 1st and March 31st. if you must enroll in Medicare during the general enrollment period, it's important to know that Medicare coverage will not begin until July 1st. That can translate into significant delays in Medicare coverage. And if you have been without credible coverage, like an employer plan, for a year or more, unfortunately, you will face late enrollment penalties. Late enrollment penalties can apply to Medicare Part B and Medicare Part D coverage. For Medicare Part B, 10% of the standard Part B premium for each year of late enrollment gets added to the regular Part B premium each month. Let's take a moment to look at that calculation. All right, so now for Part D. The penalty adds 1% of the standard Part D plan for each month you did not have credible drug coverage. Again, this penalty gets added to whatever Part D premium you currently pay. Here's the calculation. And it's crucial to know that this penalty is not like a parking ticket where you pay it once and you're done. Nope, this penalty will follow a person for the rest of their life. As we come to the end of video 2, I know this section was quite long and filled with a lot of confusing information. The information provided in this section is one of the primary reasons we created this series and why we work with 65 Incorporated to help decipher Medicare. You might need a break before video 3, but be sure to come back because I was amazed at how 65 Incorporated broke down the Medicare paths. When I first heard this explanation, Medicare finally started making a little bit more sense to me. I hope it helps you as much as it did for me. See you in the next video.